Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Alan. This is Flip House Finds. It's not only the name of the YouTube channel that you're watching right now, but it's also the name of the small business I started back in January of 2025, where I sell primarily Pokemon cards on TCG Player, and I started a little bit on eBay. As I'm recording this, we have other people that are fans of the hobby, and maybe even you are right now standing in line maybe at your friendly local game shop to get some Mega Evolution. Today is the release day. Yesterday, my friend Nathan that I've mentioned a few times, I bought a couple hundred cards from him, and part of those cards were some of the new Mega Evolution. Now, granted, they're not in English, but that's a fantastic card. We'll do this one at a time so they can look. Yeah, so good. I love the yellow at the top and the black outline around it, and how the big kind of like action swooshes, if you will, like just they're not too busy, and they have like a little bit of shiny inside. Oh yeah, the sun's hitting that one just right. That's a good one. Let's see, where's the Lucario? Yeah, oh, that's not the Lucario. That's a good one too. Let's see if I can get the sun to hit it just right. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this, but just picked up a few of these, and I'm sure over the next few months I'll be picking up more of these in English as people start selling off some of their duplicates and things like that as they're trying to master set. But today, Mega Evolution, something to note. First release since I've started this YouTube channel, and so I was going to go stand in line at the game shop I mentioned a couple of videos ago, but like at 3 or 4 in the morning, my buddy Nathan messaged me and was like, I've got friends, he's part of this Discord channel, and they're like, there's already hundreds of people in line at that shop. And so I'll just take a look at the cards as I begin to pick them up in collections. One other thing I want to say too, before I kind of dive into the content about the fake cards that I've purchased, yeah, it's a whole story. Embarrassed, but we're going to learn together, so you don't have to learn like I did. I'm grateful for you. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I didn't feel like it was helpful to the people that are watching. And so, if you're one of my first, I mean, right now I think I have 350 subscribers, and so it's taken off a little bit quicker than I'd anticipated. And if you're one of them, thank you so much. I don't have a way to look at all of the subscribers the way YouTube is set up. I can only see the people that have their YouTube profile public, or people can see who they subscribe to. And so I only have a small list of you that I could actually say by name. And I may start doing that. Thank a few of you each video. But thank you so much. Thanks for being an early adopter to what you're doing here, or what I'm doing here. And I hope that we as a community can continue to create amazing content, and we can continue to help one another. And if you've got ideas for other videos you'd like to see, you can leave that in the description down below. I also want to mention last night, as we're working our way towards monetization on this channel, which if you don't know is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. I set up a Ko-fi page. I don't know how to say it properly. I'll figure it out. I just set it up last night, and right down in the description, you can see the little heart icon where you can support the channel. And if you'd like to leave me a donation or set up a recurring donation, you can do that to support what I'm doing here. But if not, I'm just glad you're here. So I just wanted to point that out as a new option. Again, I'm not like trying to get rich or anything like that, but maybe a chance to upgrade some gear or buy some other collections, or maybe do some other fun stuff that I can use that money for. But thanks so much for being here. Your views, your subscriptions, the hours that you're watching my content, that's the most important thing. So share it with your friends. If you find anything of benefit here, subscribe down below. But let's dive into the primary content, fake cards. And so a couple months into the journey, as I was building my relationship with the GAP program, Growth Acceleration Program, over at tcgplayer.com, it was coming up for one of my meetings, one of my Zoom calls with my representative, and I realized I didn't have many cards on there. I had in fact, right now I don't have a lot of cards on there because I've been so laser focused on launching this YouTube channel. But I only had like maybe 30 cards listed, and I wanted to show that, hey, I'm going to continue to pour fuel on the fire. And it had been a busy week, but I knew I needed to buy some cards. And so I got into a conversation with a gentleman on Facebook Marketplace. Before we even met up, he was kind of creating this story. And again, maybe it's true that he had some bills he needed to pay, and he needed to, make about $300 and selling this lot of cards. And when I looked at the pictures, it looked like there was at least that amount of value there, if not $400 or $500 of value. And so again, this was probably my third or fourth meetup to meet someone to buy cards. We met in a Starbucks inside of a Target, so I certainly had plenty of time with the cards. But as I began to pull the cards out of the sleeves to look at them a little bit more closely, every time I would kind of like pull it up to my eye to look at it a little bit more, with a little bit more specificity and detail, he would say, "Oh, hey, I'm going to throw this card in for free. Hey, I'm going to throw this card. This card's worth a few dollars. Hey, I'm going to throw this one in too. Hey, here's another 5 or 10." It's like every time that I was trying to dial in to take a closer look at a card, it was almost like sleight of hand to some degree, where he was like distracting me and focusing me on something else. And I think before it was all over, he gave me an additional 25 cards that weren't part of the deal. And so I'm sitting there as a new buyer going like, "Hey, this is fantastic. Like this guy's really, doing me a solid." And he was bragging about how people reach out to him to fix cards that are broken. I guess there's a whole different side of the hobby of that, where people kind of repair cards to make sure they retain their value. But the whole time, I just knew that a couple of the cards felt off, but I was so new. I didn't know what I didn't know, if that makes sense. And I certainly knew that a couple of the cards felt a little heavier. There was some odd warping, it looked like, in them. But the two main cards that I was worried about, unfortunately, were the two cards that were worth about $100 a piece. So it was the bulk of the collection I was buying that I was going to try to flip and turn into profit. And so when I got home and was able to actually look at each individual card, I realized that a couple of these cards didn't feel right. And so I messaged him and said, "Hey, I'm really dissatisfied with the condition of a couple of these cards." I was assuming they were still real, and he never reached back out. And he had $300 in cash that I paid him. And I reached out again a few days later, never reached out. And then I realized that he was part of a Facebook group community of Pokemon card people that I reached out to. I made a subsequent deal a little bit later. But to fast forward, a gentleman that was a moderator in that community I bought some cards from not too long after. I said, "Hey, can I show you a few cards when we meet up?" And I showed him the cards, and he's like, "Hey, these are fake." And I was like, "That's what I thought." He even took them to a couple of other local game shops to have the shop owners there look at them. And in hindsight, I should have known. I should have known. So I'm going to do my best to show you what I should have known, so that hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. And so this card, this Alakazam EX, it looks like it's shiny, and it looks like it has some nice grooves on it, but it is warped to heck. You can kind of see, like, super warped, and it's heavy. And so what it actually is there's a sticker, and I don't know if it's going to be able to focus. There's a sticker on top of a real Pokemon card. So one of the ways you can tell if a Pokemon card is fake pretty quickly is looking at the back of the card, and I'll show you that an example here in a minute. And the front is certainly a good replica. There is some grooving on here, some grooves, texture on there. But man, this card, I mean, I can't even do it justice. The camera doesn't even do it justice. It's like it's been water damaged or something, but it's a sticker on top of a regular card. This is similar. This Eevee and Snorlax GX. It's got a sticker, and it's warped, and it's heavier because it has a sticker on top. And I can actually, one of the corners here, and you can see that it's also, when I held it up to other cards, let me see if I can get like a legit card here real quick. Let me get one of these Japanese cards here. You might be able to see it better. If you put this card in front of the Japanese card, I'll do it where you can see the gold around it. This card has been trimmed. So like the bottoms are perfectly lined up and the sides. So you see how the real Pokemon card, the gold is sticking out around it. It's also not the right size. So this card is a little bit smaller than the card. And as I was holding it up to other cards, because it was in a top loader, I really couldn't see that very well. And so the whole thing just was, and I felt it and I knew it. And I'll talk about trusting your gut here in just a moment when you're in these kind of deals. This is another one. These are easier to fake, but the pattern's not right. The holographic pattern in the back. It's a good reproduction on the back, but it's also kind of, you can see there's a kind of a sticker situation going on there. Another one, this one, the pattern is not the right pattern. You can see the holographic pattern has this weird swirl or whatever over here. So again, in hindsight, and then there's these some of these V's are a little bit easier to fake, but where you can really see it on all of these. All of these cards are fake. All of these cards are fake. The pattern isn't right. The cards are a little bit thinner, but where you can really see it is the back of the cards. The Pokemon ball is a little oblong. The border lineup is just atrocious, and it's I don't even know if you can really they look faded. Now Korean cards look similar to this, but the quality control is better. But all of these cards are just fake cards, and thankfully these aren't worth a ton of money. But in my fake card collection, my fake card PC, I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards now. 12 cards in my and even the fake, they're not all, you see how they're different sizes in there? The cards are different sizes. So you can tell, yeah. So in hindsight, I've learned a lot. When I picked them up today before I recorded this video, I haven't picked them up in several months, but because I've sold through so many cards over the last 9 months, and I've had so many real cards in my hands, it's becoming infinitely easier to determine fake cards and knowing which ones are fake. Now I want to show you very quickly too. So the back of the Japanese card, is gold, and it kind of fades into the center, kind of, let's call it a blue rectangle in the middle. So the borders are a little less rigid than on an English card. On an English card, you have, let me pull up an English card here. I just realized that my cat is behind me. An English card, has the navy blue, the firmer border. And this is a heavily played card, so that may not be a good choice. I got to put that back in there. But the Korean cards, they kind of look, they look, on the front, you might could confuse them with Japanese or Chinese. This is a Vulpix Pokeball. But the back is the same kind of pattern as English, but it looks like it may just be sun faded just ever so slightly. That's what makes them stand out a little bit. And when I was talking to Nathan yesterday, he was showing me some cards in his personal collection, and he had a great way to, obviously we know what the English cards look like. Japanese, the words at the top, they're a little bit more loose and they're a little bit more flowy, not as many straight lines. Whereas Chinese letters have more like straight, rigid, more compact characters. And then the Korean cards have a little bit more like more circles and things in them. And certainly this Vulpix, you can see that there's a circle there as well. But each of the backs are a little bit unique, but certainly distinct enough. And so just because the back may look a little different doesn't mean that it's fake. It just may be in another language. But all of that to say, what I should have done and what I would encourage you to do is to trust your gut and maybe even practice what would an exit strategy look like, or an exit statement. And so if I could go back in time and sit back down at that table at that Starbucks, I would say something along these lines. Hey, I appreciate you coming out today. I'm relatively new to the hobby, or hey, these cards are in a little less. They're a little bit less, what's the word? I said it earlier in my mind. Yeah, I need to practice this apparently. But hey, I'm looking for cards that are a little bit more closer to near mint or mint. These aren't quite as good a quality as I was hoping that they would be. In the pictures, I really couldn't tell. So I really appreciate you coming out tonight. But I'm going to have to pass on this collection, and then just get up and walk away. And you can do that in a kind way. You don't have to be rude about it, but certainly you can be firm. You can tell the truth. You can do it kindly, and then you can step away. And certainly you want to be safe. You don't want to feel like you're in any kind of danger. And if you're in a coffee shop, that shouldn't be the case. But that's hard to do, even for me at almost 50 years old, to sit there and know that I've negotiated this time. But I was so eager to get more cards on my TCG player account that I was willing to not listen to my gut and not listen to or see the red flags that were in front of me. Even though I didn't know what I didn't know, I knew it felt off. And so if you're ever in a deal like that and it feels off, trust your gut, figure out a way to, in a kind manner, dismiss yourself from the conversation and thank them for their time. But then also, I would say, don't let the fear of missing out be something that really steers you, because that's what the driving factor was for me. And don't let it defeat you. If you happen to buy some fake cards along the way, in fact, all of those cards except the first few that I showed you, I don't think that the buyer that I bought them from knew they were fake. That doesn't mean that it's okay, but I don't think that they knew. And if you're going through a collection and you for sure find a fake card or two and you point it out to the seller and they don't immediately say like, oh my gosh, yeah, let me take that out and I'll subtract that money off of there. But even if they do that, if you find one fake card, there's probably more fake cards. I heard someone really wise that's in this hobby say that not too long ago. And so chances are they know they're fake and they're trying to offload them so they can make some more money to buy some authentic cards. So if you find one fake card, there's probably more. And depending on the context and the situation, you might want to walk away just the whole deal if there's at least one fake card in there. But you may not. You may be able to negotiate a better deal based on that, and maybe they honestly don't know. So I kind of rambled there at the end, but those are just some principles. But in summary, meet somewhere, like I've told you in previous videos, where you can spend some time with the cards. Be kind throughout your interaction. That's gonna cover a multitude of challenges. Trust your gut. Practice maybe a few statements, either in your own head or just out loud or with someone that you care about. Hey, how does this feel when I say this? As kind of an exit strategy if you have to walk away from a deal. And obviously put yourself somewhere that's safe, well lit, and that there's people around. But that's my story of fake cards. I wish I could. I keep them as a reminder of what could have been, because this certainly was these two cards here represented about $200 at the time. And I'd have $200 more to invest in this community or into my business had I not bought these. So that was embarrassing, but I wasn't going to let it defeat me. I learned. I keep them every time before I meet up with a new seller. I pull these out and I remind myself what they feel like, what they look like, so that I don't make the same mistake again. Thanks for being here, everyone. Man, I love creating content for you. I hope this was useful. If you bought fake cards, don't beat yourself up over it. Learn from it. But my name is Alan. This is Flip House Finds, and I'll see you in the next video.